Everybody, welcome back to A Sweet Journey. This is Sonia, also known as Sweets. And today I just wanted to talk a little bit about emotional health. We're all quarantined, and if you're watching the news at all, it's really, it's unnerving. There's a lot going on. And I had some things that happened like this week, and I just thought, I may want to share my experiences and then maybe offer a couple of things for us to consider that we can do to kind of help during this time. So just to bring you all up to speed, and I'd like to remind everybody, just in case this might be your first video that you're watching, but I attended Oprah's 2020 Vision Tour, and she had several areas that she thought we should figure out how healthy we are in those areas. One area was in the mind, one was in the body, and one was in the spirit or the soul. And so in the mind, there was emotion, like how healthy are you emotionally? How healthy are you as far as work? And how healthy are you as far as, I always forget the third one for mind. Emotions, work, and learning. So those are the three. Then in the body, it's just two things, nutritionally and as far as movement. How healthy are you in those spaces? And then the last area is the spirit, and in your spirit, your purpose and relationships. And so today I just want to talk a little bit about emotions, because I think that it's a good time to talk about it. So one of the things that I discovered this week is that, so I mentioned this on another video, but you know how you store up snacks for the emergency that we're in, the pandemic that we're in, and you store up snacks with the thought that you will have them over time. I found myself eating my snacks on the regular. And so there's nothing really necessarily wrong with eating snacks. What is wrong is when you are highly stressed about something, and then that triggers you into doing a certain behavior. So there's three things that really, once I'm stressed, I get triggered in three areas. One is in eating. I'll just eat mindlessly, which is one of my goals, to be mindful when I'm eating, to not just eat, but to eat mindfully, sit down, enjoy my food, take my time. Don't do it while doing something else. So that's the one thing. The second thing is I shop sometimes when I'm stressed and buy things that I probably have one of, like especially hair products. I love to buy hair products. I love to buy makeup, things like that. So, so that's the second kind of thing sometimes that I will do behaviorally when I'm stressed. And then the third thing is sometimes I might have a little more wine than normal. Sometimes I will drink wine just on the weekend. Sometimes I don't think about drinking wine at all. But when I'm highly stressed, sometimes a glass of wine is my go-to. So, so it's one, I think, a really good idea to just kind of stop and recognize when I am stressed, what do I tend to do? I have a good friend who sleeps, and I know that that could be depressive behavior, but sleeping could be a thing. Some people just snap and they have high levels of aggressive behavior when they are when they're stressed. Someone told me that during this pandemic, there's a high level of domestic violence and divorce, which people are highly stressed. None of that is acceptable, but that is, well, divorce could be acceptable if, I don't know, I won't even go there. But I think the conversation really is about noticing when you are highly stressed and what is the thing that you do once you get to that place. So I think that would be step one, is just to kind of notice it. Pay attention to your behavior patterns. Pay attention to if you are overeating, like why. Like maybe take a moment and go, okay, like why am I eating like this volume and this kind of aggressive behavior toward food? Well, like why is that happening? If you find yourself like shopping or like hoarding things. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine the other day, And she said, you like to hold on to things. And oftentimes it's when you're thinking about like your mom. Not to say that I'm a hoarder, but sometimes I think things have a special, they hold a memory for me. And so I want to hold on to it. Well, I have to kind of make sure that the memory of my mom doesn't lie in a keychain or in a whatever. But and so then everything, because if I look around, like everything really could remind me of her, and then I could be a hoarder. So I have to be careful about that. I think a second thing that I would definitely consider is switching out, like at the moment that you feel highly stressed. Now, this is high levels of discipline. Let me just say that, because it's just a work that I know that I need to work on. But switching out whatever it is that you're gonna do. So like, for instance, if I'm going to go eat a bag of jalapeno cheddar Cheetos specifically, if my intention is to go eat a bag of it because I've had a long day at work and I'm trying to process something, and I feel like, okay, in order to process it, let me just get to crunching away on those jalapeno cheddar Cheetos, then maybe I set it as an intention that when I feel high levels of stress, that I do something other than eat Cheetos. So maybe during that time, I switch that out. When I know I'm at high levels of stress, what is something else that I can do? Well, for me, I love to write and I love to make lists. It's a big thing. And so maybe I channel that energy into that. And then I make lists of things that will help me progress. Because the Cheetos are really not going to help me progress further. It's just going to distract my mind as I'm probably writing my list. So maybe I take that out. Or if I just have to snack, which, maybe the first step before you can get to pulling away from snacking when stressed, maybe that same crunch can come from a carrot. And I know, sounds like nonsensical, but I say try it and see if it works. For me, writing lists absolutely works. And then the last thing I think is just, there is a need, I think, for all of us during this time to take care of ourselves. And that taking care of ourselves could look different for different people. So sometimes taking care of ourselves is just sitting in silence for a little while, just kind of letting your mind calm down. I know sometimes I have troubles going to sleep, which I had never had that before, but recently, because of all of this stuff, sometimes I have trouble going to sleep. And so doing things that kind of help my mind calm down. Maybe it is me reading my Bible. Maybe it's me praying. Maybe it's me listening to soft music. Maybe it's me just talking to someone that is calming and that kind of brings a balance to things, has a good perspective. But I think that we all have to take the time to take care of ourselves, because if we don't, we're going to find ourselves maybe gaining weight during this time. Maybe I know there have been multiple people I've been talking to from work who are experiencing migraines at high levels at this time. A lot of people are exhausted. I was saying that I'm having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep sometimes. And so practicing these things, I think, will help us to do better in times of stress. And so emotionally, we have to take care of ourselves. So thank you for joining today. Hopefully you will join me again tomorrow. Tomorrow, I was supposed to do yoga one day this week and I didn't. So I'm hoping that yoga is one of the things that I will do this week. It just, these practices, in order for a discipline, in order for a practice to become a practice that you do often, you have to exercise discipline and doing it over and over again. And so I am in my process, which is why my channel is called A Sweet Journey. Whether good or bad, up or down, it's still a sweet journey. And I'm glad that you're on it with me. So I will hopefully see you again tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.